that distinct voice and this distinct dancing, Peter Garrett has been making music that matters since the early 70s as frontman of Midnight Oil. The Oils have not only provided Aussies with an amazing soundtrack to our lives, their lyrics have sought to improve them, shining a light on many environmental and Indigenous causes. In 2002, Garrett stepped his political activism up a notch by quitting the band and serving as a Labor MP.
I'm going to do my very best in Canberra to make sure that that confidence has been well placed.
Once that was put to bed, Midnight Oil regrouped, and tomorrow will release their first studio album in 18 years, with each track featuring First Nations artists.
Peter Garrett, thanks for joining us.
Hey, no worries, Georgie.
Hey, congratulations on the new album. Can you tell us why you've called it the Makarrata Project?
I don't think we really knew that we'd be making records at this stage of our lives, and let alone something like this, which has been incredibly exciting. And really, we had a bunch of songs that popped out when we finished touring. Some of them were really thematically strong about issues around Indigenous Australia. The Uluru Statement from the Heart, which was drafted by a bunch of Aboriginal people in 2017 after a lot of consultation and thought, very poetic document, very powerful and important document, seemed to have gone by the wayside. And it includes in it a voice to Parliament, a call on the Parliament to have a truth-telling exercise, and a Makarrata Commission, which means a coming together after difficult times in some meanings. It felt like the right thing to call this record because we feel that this is a super important issue. We've got songs that go with it, so that's why we called it Makarrata. And then, of course, the next step was to bring our First Nations brothers and sisters and colleagues and friends in to perform and sing with us, which is what we've done, and we're incredibly excited about it.
There's a long list of First Nations artists you've got into this, Pete, and one of them jumped out, Jessica Malboy. I mean, when Midnight Oil calls a young diva to say, do you want to be on our album, what is the reaction and how did she go? Did you keep up with the Oils?
Well, yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you're right, it's a little bit of something different, isn't it? But I love singing with her, which is what we've done subsequently. And when she came into the studio, I'm sitting back like everybody else with my jaw hanging on the floor.
The timing for this project's exquisite. I mean, you mentioned the Uluru Statement from the Heart, of course. That was a few years ago, but even, as recently as May, we saw those 46,000-year-old Aboriginal caves blown up in WA by Rio Tinto, and now I think you've got this, this controversy in Victoria where the Victorian government is accused of removing a sacred tree in order to build a road. I mean, you've been singing about this for decades now, these sort of broader issues. Why do you think we're still in this place?
Look, I think the answer, or at least part of the answer, Waleed, is that the national polity has let us down. We walked across the bridge in the 90s. We've had the High Court start to change direction in terms of recognising native title. Rudd said sorry. I was in the Parliament at the time. And I think there's a lot of goodwill and a sense amongst all Australians that we can be a unified nation if we get this bit of our history right and we actually address the issues that First Nations people are calling out about in a genuine way.
You're very lucid and passionate on this. Have you ever thought of going into politics?
The funniest thing was I honestly never really knew what would happen when I came out. I knew at some point I would do something about it, but I didn't know what would happen when I came out. No, I'm quite happy to throw my Doc Martens and my Ugg boots at the TV set occasionally.
What's amazing about Midnight Oil is you've been, for decades now, being able to take on these political and social issues and make them into amazing songs, whether it be When the Generals Talk, or US Forces, or of course, Beds Are Burning. Is there an issue that you've tried to take but you can't make musical? Like maybe you have a 40K school zone song that you just can't make work.
And yeah, you're right, Pete. The funny thing is sometimes people will send us notes saying, can you write a song about, e-waste disposal? And Doesn't actually work like that.
Hi, Peter. Sam Russiano here. It's an honour to speak to you, sir. I just want to ask a really relevant question about your dancing. Do you take that very distinctive dancing style, say, to like weddings and school dances? Like, is that just your move, no matter where you are in the setting?
It's probably a little toned down for the wedding. It honestly just happens. And we were hanging around with some mates a couple of months ago. This was in the COVID thing, and we love listening to music. And Killing in the Name of Love, you know, Rage Against the Machine came in, and I just had to break out. You know,
Tell me someone filmed this, because there must be footage.
Thank heavens and God and everybody else, no.
But Pete, I mean, it's very good for social distancing, your dance, so it's very 2020.
True.
Yeah.
Well, Midnight Oil's new album, The Makarrata Project, is out tomorrow, but it gets better. A share of the proceeds will be donated to organisations supporting the Uluru Statement, and Sony Music Entertainment Australia has pledged to match the band's contribution. Amazing. Peter Garrett, thanks so much for the chat.
Hey, no worries. Thanks for having us, guys. See ya.